Hello and welcome to this presentation on my brand. My name is Christina Carde. I am a digital marketing master's student with Full Sail University, and this presentation is going to go over my personal brand online and the information regarding that. So my online presence right now, we're going to take a look at where I'm located, where I come up in the Google search results, my social media data, information about my personal website, what I consider my home base to be as far as my social media and online presence, what my strengths and weaknesses are concerning my online presence in social media, and a strategy moving forward. So this is me on social media. I have right now 6 social media sites currently active. This is kind of in the order of the way that I use them, but not so much with Snapchat though. That one I don't really use. But Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn are 5 channels that I do use pretty frequently. So this is my Google search. What's cool about my name is it's pretty unique. Not too many people have it. Christina Carde, that last name is not, a traditional last name. So it does help when you type it into Google to kind of bring up just my results and maybe a couple other people that have the same name. So some of my profiles do come up. I've got my LinkedIn profile, Facebook, YouTube. There's also a picture of me there. If you look at the girl in the army uniform, that's me from many eons ago. And even one of my old articles pops up on there, where it says PFC Christina Carde there. That was from my time as a public affairs specialist in the Army. So good information on the first page, and there's also some results on the second page as well about me. So Facebook is my number one go-to for social media. I got 168 friends, I believe, 163. And this is kind of where I do everything on a daily basis as far as communicating with family, friends. I also have a professional kind of blog page on there, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, it's pretty complete. I did update my bio info today, and you could see my other information when you click on About Me, the information that comes up. So my Facebook is actually pretty complete. Twitter and Instagram would be the next 2 that I use pretty frequently. Instagram more so to post things, and Twitter more so to view things. If you look at my Twitter, I have a total of 184 tweets, but that's over the course of the last 7 years. So I don't really use it a whole lot to post things. I might retweet some stuff, but for the most part, it's just to kind of keep up on news, other professional people that I follow and what they tweet. That's kind of what I use Twitter for. I created my Twitter page when I did my first master's degree through Full Sail, my public relations master's. So it's kind of why you see some of the older pictures on there. So that does need to be updated. Then Instagram, I just started using my Instagram page not too long ago. So it does have some posts. I do have some followers, but it's not, it's just still up and coming. I haven't really done a whole lot with it, and that's more for personal use. And then of course my LinkedIn is up to date. I haven't really used it much lately. I've been at the same job for the last 8 years. So, haven't really done a whole lot with my LinkedIn, but that page is up to date as well. And then here is the 2 that I would probably say I use most infrequently. Snapchat, I don't really use at all. In all honesty, I kind of only created a Snapchat account to keep tabs on my oldest son when he was on Snapchat all the time. So that's really all I used that for. And then YouTube, I have 4 different YouTube channels I found out today when I was looking for myself on YouTube. And this is over the course of my time, both personally and then also with my first master's degree, where I created these different YouTube channels with different content for education purposes. I somehow ended up with 4. So YouTube, like I said, mostly for like education purposes, and somewhat for helping my son with promoting his baseball, and Snapchat really not so much. So the 2 places I would consider my home base to be professionally would be my WordPress blog, Right now, the only one that I have that's active is the mastery blog that I created for this master's degree. And then I also have a Facebook page called the Card A Solution, which is kind of my professional page on Facebook. I haven't really done a whole lot with it lately. Once again, this was another thing that I created for my personal brand when I was doing my public relations masters. Really haven't kept up with it the way that I'm supposed to. And every single time I see a hit on Facebook that someone's looking at the page, I'm like, man, I really need to update this page, because I do get a lot of people who do take a look at it. So, but this is what I would consider my home base, my blog, and of course my Facebook blog page. So here are some different strengths and weaknesses that I saw when going over my social media presence and my online presence. Strengths, I would consider that I'm familiar with multiple sites on the internet. So I have 6 or 7 different social media sites, and whether I use them frequently or not so frequently, I am familiar with them. I would say that is a strength. My brand is pretty fluid across the platform. Same photos, same names, same information. So not really like a whole bunch of different things going on with my branding. It is pretty fluid and pretty coherent. And I do have a pretty good foundation to build on. Not only do I have the social media sites that are already up and running, some that I do work on pretty frequently, but between my PR master's and this master's degree, I do have a pretty good education foundation for what I need to do with these sites and what they need to look like. As far as my weaknesses go, I'm not really consistent with posting on a lot of these sites. Like I had said before, Facebook mostly is what I use for posting things. My other sites have kind of let go to the wayside a little bit. So I do need to be a lot more consistent with posting in my content. I guess that kind of goes hand in hand with site neglect. Like LinkedIn, I haven't been on in forever. And then kind of YouTube, I'm all over the place. I have 4 different YouTube channels out there, which really needs to be cleaned up. So my weaknesses would be I need to be more consistent. I need to be more on top of my sites, and I need to kind of get my sites organized and focused a little bit better when it comes to the different things that I should be posting. So my professional sites, this is kind of what I need to do as far as my strategy. So I've got my Facebook, the Card A Solution blog, WordPress, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. These are the different sites I would say I would use for professional purposes. I do need to update the content information on these sites. I do need to create more content and create a messaging strategy for all of these different sites. Like, what is, the purpose of these sites going to be from a professional standpoint when representing my personal brand. So I do need to create that strategy and create the content around that and be consistent, through Hootsuite or maybe another app when it comes to posting different things. Once I do get these channels up and running to where they're supposed to be and create a brand strategy for these channels, I do need to be more consistent with the content that I post. These 2 sites, my regular Facebook page and Instagram, I'm probably just going to use for personal reasons. They're going to be obviously separate from the professional sites, which is important. However, they can be used to advocate for my professional site. So I can always post different things about my blog or my professional pages on my personal pages, just in case there's people on there that want to take a look. And another thing that's really important that I don't think gets looked at so much between personal and professional sites, you want to think whenever you're involved in personally marketing yourself on social media or on the internet, think about how your personal views and beliefs and posts could affect your professional sites. I had a friend of mine that I was doing some PR work for. She was actually a celebrity impersonator, and she ended up having a problem where a lot of her personal political views ended up really affecting the impersonator role that she tried to play on a professional level, because she allowed those 2 things to mix together, and she ended up losing a bunch of followers because of that on her social media. So that is one thing that I just need to be careful that I'm keeping my personal thoughts and ideas and beliefs separate from what I'm trying to do professionally. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation on my personal brand, and I hope to talk to you again soon in the future. This is our last class, so this will be my last presentation, but I have enjoyed this class, and I hope that I can use it again in my professional endeavors.